Namah Shivaya. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's subject is integrate and evolve. Shiva is taking us into the deeper layers day by day. Today is taking us to a different dimension. Let's enter into the sutra. Navraje navischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpatayam madhye taya bhairavarupata. Navraje navischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpataya madhye taya bhairavarupata. The translation goes, the energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then you attain the nature of Bhairava. Then one attains the nature of Bhairava. Again, this is also technique related to breathing. Actually, first 9 techniques are related to breathing. First day itself I was explaining. Breathing is the right place to start. That is the right place to begin the spiritual practice. There are so many masters who try to work on the earth. All the religious techniques, the puja, yoga, all of them start with earth, the physical part. Then there are some techniques related to fire, homa, so many techniques to fall in tune with the fire. There are some techniques to fall in tune with ether, but the problem is, straight away when you try to fall in tune with ether, Akash energy, sometimes you are not so subtle, you will not be able to grasp it. Prana, the air is the right space, anybody can start from this space. Nobody will miss it. Straight away trying to work on the consciousness may not help all the individuals. Here Shiva is trying to work through the breath, through the prana. He is taking us to the same height. He is leading us to the same depth through proper method, through a proper channel, through a proper technique, by helping us to work on the breath. You are supposed to start where you are. You are supposed to start where you are. You can't start where you have to end. You are supposed to end in consciousness, but you can't start in consciousness because you are not there. If you are already there, why you need teaching? You don't need anything. You don't need meditation. Somebody goes to a great yogi and asks, Master, I want to learn meditation. Master says, no, no, first you have to master the yama, means you have to practice the yama, niyama. What is the yama and niyama? Be truthful, practice brahmacharya, don't steal others' things, live a non-violent life. You have to practice all these things, only then you can start meditation. Disciple asks, if I can do all these things, then why I need meditation? If I can do all these things already, then why I need meditation? You have to start where you are. You can't straight away think of the goal. Goal is truth, but you can't start with the goal. Here, Shiva is, of course, Shiva is practical person. I have read thousands of spiritual books. If at all I am asked to choose a single book among the 1,000, I will choose the Shiva Sutras only. It's a pure essence, and not only that, he is so practical. He is taking us to the same height, but step by step. He is beautifully leading us step by step to the highest truth. Today, he is opening up and declaring the highest truth, but not straight away, after preparing us. First, with the first 3 sutras, he has prepared us. Now he is opening up the truth. Navrajanna vischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpataya madhye taya bhairavarupata. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the energy unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then one attains the nature of Bhairava. As I was telling you the other day, scientist is a person who creates a formula to reproduce the understanding which happened to him. Master is a person who creates a formula to reproduce the experience which happened to him. Scientist is a person, he creates a formula to reproduce the intellectual understanding related to the outer world. For example, Newton, he saw the apple falling in his garden. Suddenly he had some understanding. He had the glimpse of truth. Why the apple should fall? If we saw, either would have picked up and eaten or forget about it. Why unnecessarily think about all those things? Why it falls? Why should it be attracted towards the earth? Anyhow, he had some understanding. Why it is falling? He had the glimpse of truth. He created the formula for us also to understand the truth. He created a formula to reproduce the same understanding which happened in him related to the outer world. Master is a person who creates formula, who creates a technology to reproduce the experience related to the inner world. Here, Shiva is just reproducing the technology to achieve the Bhairava consciousness, Shiva consciousness. He says, one attains the nature of Bhairava. He says, Bhairava Rupata, you achieve me, you achieve the same consciousness in which I am staying. You achieve the Shiva consciousness, you achieve the Bhairava consciousness. There are so many levels of experience. Salokya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Sayujya Mukti. Salogya Mukti means you get to live around the master. It's like you stay in the same space where the master stays. I always tell people, it's like becoming ashramite. You live around me. That is a Salokya Mukti. You enter into his loka. You enter into his world. Salokya Mukti. So lot of problems will be avoided because you don't have to think for your life. He will think for your life. So many things. Your responsibilities are taken by him. He takes care of you. He takes your responsibilities. The next level, Samibhya Mukti, living closely around him. I compare and tell people, crew members who always travel with me. The Samibhya Mukti, you are 24 hours around him. Third is Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti is like you take his own form. You are in that same form and do what he does. It's like becoming an acharya, teacher. You do the work of what I am doing. You become a teacher and start taking classes. It's like a Sarupya Mukti. That is why you can see in all the temples, the guardian deities, Dwara Balakas will be almost the same. Whatever that gods are carrying, the same weapons they will also be carrying. The guardians also will be carrying. If the god is wearing Nama, they will also be wearing Nama. The god is wearing the Kunkuma, the Dwara Balaks also will be wearing Kunkuma. It's like a Sarupya Mukti. They achieve the same Swarupa. They are in the same Rupa. Sarupya Mukti. The next, last and ultimate is Sayujya Mukti. You achieve his consciousness. You achieve his consciousness. You become him. You start staying in the same space where he is staying. You achieve the same consciousness. Shiva doesn't believe in other three levels of muktis. He doesn't believe in Salokya. He doesn't believe in Samibhya. He doesn't believe in Sarupya. Straight away, he takes us to Sayujya. He gives us the techniques to Sayujya. Beautifully he says, Bhairava Rupata. You achieve the same consciousness in which I am staying. You achieve the same space in which I exist. You achieve the Shiva consciousness. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then one attains the nature of Bhairava. The key in this whole sutra is be unclutched. Shiva straight away comes to the subject. But sometimes I don't go straight away into the subject because I need to prepare your mind. Shiva is speaking to Devi, but I am speaking to you. That is why I am not straight away entering into the subject. Our mind is too much bothered about matter. I have to, unless I prepare your mind, you don't start listening to the truth. It takes a lot of time for us to come and settle down into the hall itself. Be very clear. You may be sitting in the hall, but you are not settled down into the hall. You may be sitting in the hall. It takes at least 20 minutes for you to settle down in the hall. I have always seen. At least 20 minutes. That's why I am not entering into the sutras. I am just playing. Shiva is speaking to Devi. So he doesn't have to use more words. He doesn't need jokes. Throughout this book, not even a single joke. Not even a single small story. Because He is speaking to Devi. She is already completely settled. There is no need for any story. There is no need for any jokes. She is straight away concerned only about the essence. Actually, in our case, we are too much concerned about too many things and we miss the essence. We just miss the spirit. A small story. One UP opened the door of his BMW. Suddenly another one car came and crashed. Door was completely thrown out. The UP started shouting. Police came and the UP started weeping. See what happened to my car. The officer saw the whole scene and he started shouting. You UPs, you guys don't care about your life and you bother only about your materialistic things. Don't you see your left hand is missing? Suddenly that guy saw the left hand and said, yes, 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 what happened to my Rolex watch? What happened to my Rolex watch? Again he is bothered only about the matter. Now we are too much engrossed in the matter. We forget the life itself. That's the reason I first try to settle down before entering into the sutras. If you miss the Rolex watch, it's okay, you can get it. But you can't get one more hand. If you miss the BMW, it's okay. But you can't get your life. If you miss the introduction, it's okay. But you can't miss the sutra itself. Straight away, if I start speaking on the sutra, you will miss the sutra. Because your mind takes a little time. Just the other day, one of our devotees, he was suggesting, Swamiji, you should start the silent satsangs. It is true. I can sit in silence, but you can't. If I sit in silence, you will start talking inside your head. Actually, I can convey much beautifully. The transmission of energy can happen if I am in silence. If I am sitting here in silence, much more can happen in you than through speaking. People ask me, Swamiji, I don't know English, can I attend your meditation programs? I tell them, only you are qualified to attend. Don't miss the chance. There are so many people come from France who doesn't know English or who knows only Spanish. All these people, they come and ask me through translator. I don't understand English, can I attend your program? I tell them, you are the only person qualified. Don't miss that chance. Because to understand English, they think they understand, that's all. And they will be constantly trying to get the meaning out of the words which I am expressing. Let you be very clear, you can never understand anything because I myself don't understand. I know for sure I am not speaking what I want to speak. I am not expressing what I want to express. Because words are too small. Words are too small. You can't express through words. If you don't understand, at least you will be clear you are not understood. If you think you understood, really you are missing. But I can't be in silence. I can't be in silence. If I don't speak, you will start speaking in your head. At least you will be little silent if I start speaking. I am speaking so that you will be silent. If I am in silence, you will start speaking. That's the reason I don't do silent satsangs. Of course, the higher level, when people are really matured, I do sit with them. In teacher's training, sometimes I sit with them even 10 hours, not even single words, not even a single word is shared. Not only no words are shared, nobody even bothers about talking. We had Nithyanandam program 15 days program. 18 hours per day people sat with me. Neither they felt they need to speak, nor I felt I need to tell anything. The deeper level, you will be able to sit silently. The initial level, you won't be able to sit. If I stop speaking, you will start speaking in your head. You may not speak with others, but you will start speaking with yourself. And it is better, even if you misunderstand, it's okay. At least in the end, I can give you a little clarity. One more small story. One lady was speaking to her neighbor, next door neighbor. She was saying, today I started my day beautifully. I really feel good. I gave $5 to a bum. Neighbor asked, $5? It's too much. Your husband didn't tell anything about it? What he said about it? Oh, he just said thanks and left. First, you may miss what I am saying. At least with the punchline, you may get what I want to express. With the first line, you may miss what I want to say. But with the punchline, you will catch what I want to express. That's the reason I am continuously speaking. All right, it is time. Let's enter into the sutra. I request all of you to be totally attentive. Please sit straight so that you won't miss. Here, Shiva is taking us word by word to the deepest experience. I tell you one thing. If you can be aware of next 1 hour, if you don't miss a single word, I promise there is every possibility of liberation. You don't need to practice this meditation, because this meditation doesn't need to be practiced. The very understanding, he leads you step by step into your core. Every word takes you to the next layer, and he is showing you the very nature of your being. The core of your being is trying to express it. And better if you don't close your eyes. Usually when you close your eyes, you may think you are listening, but slowly you will be lost. And moreover, I express more in body language than through words. So when you are listening to audio discourse, you can close your eyes. But when you are listening directly from the master, sit with full awareness. Navrajanna vischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpataya madhye taya bhairava rupata. Ramakrishna always says, whenever I go to an extreme, whenever I go to a level of expressing the truth, I feel suddenly somebody is catching my throat. Only to a certain extent I am able to express. After that I feel somebody is choking my throat. I am not able to say what I want to say. When I read this, I felt, how can this be true? Who can choke your throat? How can you say you are not able to express what you want to express? I didn't believe, but really now I am able to believe. Now I am able to experience what Ramakrishna means. There are some things, when you try to express it through, put it through words, so much comes up. big traffic jam happens. The traffic jam of the truth happens in your throat. Your walk loses the power to express. If there are one or two things to be expressed, then your walk is alive, active. You can express. But there are so many things just crowded. When the truth is overcrowded, when the traffic jam of truth happens, you really feel your walk is too small. Walk means the power to express. The ability to express is too small to tell the truth, to express it. To tell you honestly, really I am feeling that same thing now. The walk is too small. The power to express is too small to express this great truth which Shiva is expressing in this sutra. So I may try to express it inch by inch, layer by layer. Please be attentive for next 1 hour. It will lead you to the deepest experience of your being, and there is every possibility you will be liberated in this very moment. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then one attains the nature of Bhairava. Then one attains the Shiva consciousness. You don't even need to practice this technique. All you need to do is just be aware of this technique. There are some techniques which you need to learn and practice, experience. There are some techniques, the very understanding takes you to that level, takes you to that depth. Suddenly you see you are experiencing it. In Vedanta, 3 levels. The first, Shravana, means understanding the technique, listening about it. Manana, meditating on it, contemplating, practicing it. Nididhyasana, expressing the truth, expressing it. You need 3 steps. Understanding, practicing, and expressing. Here, with this technique, you don't need the 3 steps. The very understanding simply liberates you, because it's taking us to such a deep level, to the depth of your being. Is showing us to the core, is taking us to a different space, which I call Zen zone. Zen zone means the zone in which already you are liberated, the zone in which you are unclutched, the zone in which you exist as you are. He is taking us to the zone beautifully without any practice. As far as this technique concerned, the very understanding is enough. You will suddenly wake up, yes, I am in that state. Nothing else needs to be done. He is taking us to that zone. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. Yesterday I was speaking, I was explaining. To be relaxed or to feel comfortable in the neutral space, we feel comfortable with incoming breath or outgoing breath. but we don't feel comfortable with the neutral space. That is why you just jump the neutral space. You don't give your attention to neutral space. Whenever the neutral space comes, you say quit and you jump. Whenever the neutral space comes, you do fast forwarding. You just fast forward it. Continuously you are fast forwarding the neutral space. When you sit and watch a movie, you don't like some scenes, you fast forward it. Just jump. Same way, whenever the neutral space comes, you jump, you fast forward. Yesterday I was asking you to feel little comfortable with the neutral space, in the neutral zone. Now he is taking us to a different depth. He says, you don't even have to feel comfortable with the neutral zone. Just understand you have a neutral zone. Be relaxed. Whether you want or not, you are going to have neutral zone. Even if you do fast forwarding, even if you fast forward, the neutral zone is your nature. Every moment, the neutral zone is going to happen in you. That space is happening in you. The neutral space is constantly happening in you. Even if you avoid, the neutral space is happening in you. He says, the energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched. Let me explain how your mind is moving, how you are thinking. First, all the three sutras, he spoke only about breath. He never used the word mind. First time he is bringing that word. First time Shiva is introducing. First time he is bringing the word mind. And first time he is uttering the word nirvigalpataya. Means be unclutched. The state in which you don't have any vigalpa. You don't connect and see. Vigalpa means connecting the kalpanas. Nirvigalpa means where you don't connect anything. Kalpa means itself connecting or imagining. Imagining is what is meant by the word kalpa. Here he says nirvigalpa, where you don't connect. You are unclutched. Let me just explain how you think you are thinking. Shiva is taking us a little further, so I am giving you the close-up view. This is what I call neutral space. Every moment, every kshana, again and again and again you experience this neutral space. Constantly it is happening in you. Whenever your incoming breath takes turn as outgoing breath, or outgoing breath takes turn as incoming breath. Every moment this neutral space is happening in you. Constantly you are changing the gear. Whenever you change a gear, you have to go to the neutral space. Constantly you are changing the gear. Let it be very clear, if you are constantly changing the gear, means constantly you are unclutched. Every moment you are unclutched. Now one more thing you need to understand. Yesterday I was telling you, because you don't feel comfortable with this space, you just fast forward, you jump from here to there. You do not give your attention to this space. You give attention to this space and this space, but not to the neutral space. You give attention to incoming breath, outgoing breath. You don't give attention to neutral space. You just jump. You fast forward, jump the neutral space. That is why you feel this gap is too small and this gap is more. That is why you feel the incoming breath time and outgoing breath time is more than neutral spaces. One important thing you should know, you may think the incoming breath time and the outgoing breath time is more than the neutral space, but in actuality they are not more. The time is same. You need to understand now about time. According to the Western mind, the time is chronological, means second. It is measured by second. According to Eastern mind, according to the, I can say, Eastern no mind, according to the rishis, time is psychological, it is not chronological. Kshana is not equivalent to a second. Please be very clear. In Vedic system, we measure time with the unit called Kshana. Kshana is not equivalent to time. Kshana is not equivalent to second. Kshana means gap between one thought and the other thought. Kshana means the gap between one thought and the other thought. Please understand, if you can follow, if you can come little deeply with this sutra, Shiva is straight away showing you the ultimate truth or your very nature. Shiva doesn't believe in changing your activities. He believes in changing your belief about yourself. He doesn't bother about your activities. Throughout this book, not even a single morality is given. He doesn't say speak truth. He doesn't say be non-violent. He doesn't say be a celibate. Nothing. He doesn't give a single morality. He doesn't give you a single instruction. He straight away shakes your core, changes your idea about yourself. The idea which you carry about yourself, he just shakes and changes it. Done, over. He doesn't believe in cutting the branches. He straight away removes the root. He is going to the root. Then naturally, morality will flower in you. That's why I say Shiva is the only solution for the modern day. He doesn't speak about anything. He never says what you should do or what you should not do. No rules. I tell you, all rules will make you schizophrenia. If you are interested in becoming schizophrenia, if you want bipolar disorder, start practicing some rules. Direct method to become a schizophrenia is start practicing some rules. With the rules, nothing can be done. With the truth, you don't need to do anything. Simply the whole thing will start expressing itself. Just it changes your idea about yourself. See, the moment your idea about yourself changes, you start existing in a different consciousness, altogether in a different space. Nothing needs to be done. You don't need to, no teachings are necessary to control you. All teachings are constables, cops who are sitting inside you. Teachings are nothing but cops who are sitting inside your brain. Here, there is no need to give you any teaching. Just a single understanding. just this single understanding is enough. Your idea about yourself will be completely changed. The moment your idea about you changes, no need for any morality, any teaching. You will simply start expressing the morality. You don't bother about anything else. If you are given morality, if you are given teachings, you will be constantly bothered about the other half. For example, if you are asked not to do something, you will be constantly thinking about that only. If you are a Swami, if you are Grihastha, means householder, constantly you will be fantasizing about sannyas life. What beautiful life you see. Liberated life. See, he goes all over the world. People are just respecting him and he talks something, people listen, and you just fantasize about the other zone. If you are a Swami, then you are bothered about this life. I think I am missing something. What is going on, I don't know. In the life, both the side, you will be missing always about the other half. That's why I tell you, of course, Paramahamsa is not a Swami, be very clear. Paramahamsa is a person who has experienced the truth of his being, who is beyond the four ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. He is beyond all these four ashramas. He is called Paramahamsa. You will always be bothered about the other half. A small story. One 7-year-old boy was taken to a psychiatrist because he is not eating. Doctor made him to sit, and after 1 hour slowly he said, whatever you want, you can eat. Please start eating something. Ask something. The boy said, I want to eat worms. He ordered for a plate of worms. Some of the worms were brought. He said, no, I want only one. Finally, the doctor asked to remove everything else and only one was there. The boy started shouting, no, make it as half. It was made half. Then boy started telling, no, you eat the half. You eat half, only then I will eat. Finally, somehow doctor, he has to do something and he somehow swallowed the half. Then the boy started crying, oh, you ate my half. Be very clear. If you are stuck with rules, you will be bothering always about the other half. You will be bothering the other half. You will be missing the other half. Here, Shiva is not giving you any rules. He is just taking you step by step to the core of your being and gives you the clarity. You are not what you think. You are not what you are thinking as you. Be very clear. Kshana means the gap between one thought and the other thought. It is not second. So, now you need to understand the circle. This is the NS, neutral space. Nithyananda Swami. This is the NS, neutral space. This is the incoming breath. This is the outgoing breath. For you to understand, I expressed this as more space and this as less space. But Shiva says, this is equivalent to this. Because the gap between one thought and the other thought is kshana. Gap between this thought and this thought is what he calls as kshana. And he says further, whether you give your attention or not, this space and this space, the NS, the neutral space and the incoming breath, both spaces are equal. But we think this is more. Because we give too much of attention to it. Even if you give too much of attention to it, this is not more. Let me give you one small example. If you are sitting with somebody with whom you feel completely comfortable, in tune, you are just relaxed, even if 2-3 hours passed, you will not know how time flies. Suddenly you realize, oh God, it is already 8 o'clock, I have to run, I have so much of work. Otherwise, if you are sitting with somebody with whom you don't feel comfortable or with whom you don't feel relaxed, every 5 minutes what you will do? You will see the watch and you will say, what is happening, whether my watch stopped or not? Don't you have any other work? If the number of thoughts are more, it is hell. If number of thoughts are less, you are in heaven. Be very clear, if number of thoughts are more, chronologically same time, but psychologically you feel time is more. Because you give more attention here, you think you have more thoughts here, you think this space is more than neutral space. The breathing space, breathing time is more than the neutral space. Please understand, because you think you are having more thoughts, because you think you are interested in thinking, because you believe you are interested in thinking, because you give more emphasis on your identity, you may think the incoming breath time and the outgoing breath time is more than the neutral space, but in reality it is not. It is just psychological game. The kshana of this and kshana of this is one and the same. Kshana of this, kshana of this time, the way in which your mind moves. Because you are having too many number of thoughts, you think this space is more. But in reality, this space is not more. One more thing, how you miss the depth of this space. Here also you have identity, means incoming breath space. Outgoing breath. Here also you have identity. Here also you have identity. Identity is the space which you know. Here you don't have identity. The big problem is, when there is an identity, you are able to connect and see all the identities. You connect and see. Let me be very clear. Let me give you in this way. This is the incoming breath. This is the outgoing. This is again incoming. This is NS, neutral space. This is neutral space. Because here your identity exists. It's again outgoing. It's again outgoing. NS, neutral space, neutral space. Here your identity exists. Here also your identity exists. Your identity exists in this space. Constantly you can connect and see you are connected. But in this gap, because your identity doesn't exist, you don't connect the gaps and see. For example, the thought which came to you 10 minutes ago, the thought which came to you 10 years ago, thought which came to you 20 years ago, they are independent, unclutched, separate thoughts. But thoughts have got identity. Because they have identity, you connect them and see the thought which happened 10 minutes ago is number 1. Thought which happened 1 year ago, number 2. Thought which happened 10 years ago is number 3. You can connect all of them because they have identity. But the gap which happened 10 minutes ago, the gap which happened 1 year ago, the gap which happened 10 years ago, you don't connect them and see that you are constantly experiencing gaps. If I were to put it in a little deeper way, little subtle way, the suffering, the depression which you had 10 years ago, the depression which you suffered 7 years ago, the depression which you suffered 3 years ago, the depression which you had yesterday, all of them are independent, individual, unconnected thoughts. But because they are thoughts, you start connecting all of them and create the shaft of depression. You have an idea that your life is depression. For last 10 years, I am suffering with depression, Swamiji. You create a big shaft. You take all these unconnected, unclutched pieces. Each bit is an unclutched bit. You just take all the unclutched bits. You connect all the shaft and create a shaft. Be very clear. The pain which you had 10 years ago, the pain which you had 9 years ago, the pain which you experienced 7 years ago, the pain which you experienced 3 years ago, the pain which you experienced yesterday, all of them are unconnected, independent, individual thoughts. But you connect all these thoughts and create a shaft, and you start thinking, you start believing life is pain. Or the joy which you experienced 10 years ago, the joy which you experienced 9 years ago, the joy which you experienced 3 years ago, the joy which you experienced 1 year ago, all of them are independent, individual, unconnected thoughts. Now, you connect all those thoughts and create a shaft of joy. In life, the only thing which you do is either creating the shaft of pain or creating the shaft of joy. When it comes to the shaft of pain, you try to break it. When it comes to the shaft of joy, you try to extend it. But you don't understand. Neither you can extend a shaft, nor you can break the shaft, because the shaft doesn't exist. The shaft is not there. The very shaft is your imagination, imaginary connection. Let you understand, this connection is just imaginary. Whether you want or not, every moment there is an unclutched space. You are unclutched. You are unconnected. You are unclutched shaft. But just because of your imagination or fear of losing identity, you create constant connection to maintain your identity. This identity or this connection is imaginary. For example, if it is a pain shaft, 10 years ago pain experience, 1 year ago the pain experience, 10 minutes ago the pain experience. You connect all of them in your mind through imagination and create a pain shaft. If it is a bliss or joy shaft, the joy happened 10 years ago, The joy happened 1 year ago, the joy happened 10 minutes ago. You connect them through imagination and create joy shaft. If it is a pain shaft, you try to break it. If it is a joy shaft, you try to increase it. You don't understand, you can neither break the shaft nor elongate the shaft because this shaft doesn't exist. Whether you see it or not, it is pure imaginary shaft. It is pure imaginary shaft. One more thing, just sit for 5 minutes and write whatever you are thinking or whatever comes without editing. Be very clear, it is just for you, not to show to anybody else. Don't show to anybody else, they will become mad. Understand? Whether it is a pain shaft or bliss shaft, whether it is pain shaft or joy shaft, you can neither break it nor elongate it because the shaft doesn't exist. Just write 10 minutes, whatever comes in your mind, do not edit, do not touch it, just write whatever comes. Read, you will suddenly realize all your thoughts are unconnected, irresponsible, and completely unclutched, illogical, independent thoughts. Be very clear, your first thought and the second thought is no way connected. There is no logical connection. There is no responsible connection. There is no dependency on the first thought and the second thought. If you just write whatever comes in your mind for 10 minutes and try to read that paper, suddenly you will realize that what is happening with me. For example, if you see a dog in the street, suddenly you get the same fear which you had when you were a young boy, when you were a small child, and when you see the dogs, what the fear you get, the same fear. Next moment you start thinking about your childhood and the dogs about which you are afraid, the childhood. Third, you start thinking about childhood days. Then you start remembering the teacher under whom you studied. Then you start remembering the place where your teacher had his house. Logically, the dog which you saw on the street and your teacher, both of them are not connected. Of course, both of them have barked at you, that is different. But logically, they are not connected. But see from where your mind starts and where it goes. If you just write down, pen down whatever you think for 10 minutes without editing, read that paper, suddenly you will realize all your thoughts are unconnected, independent, illogical, irresponsible, completely unclutched thoughts. They have no connection. They have no connection. Logically, they are not connected at all. Logically, they are not connected at all. By your very nature, you are unclutched. The whole social training is to make you believe you have continuity of thoughts. Society constantly trains you to catch either the shaft of pain or the shaft of pleasure. If you start believing the shaft of pain, you will spend your whole life trying to break that shaft and waste it. If you start believing in the shaft of pleasure, you will spend your whole life trying to elongate that shaft and destroy your life. The one and only Maya is believing that your thoughts are connected. That is the only Maya. Let me be very clear and honest. Whatever spiritual techniques you practice, whatever meditations techniques or anything you practice, to elongate this shaft, you will never be successful. I have seen people trying to do concentration People trying to do concentration. I have seen people seriously practicing Rama Krishna, Rama Krishna, Rama Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. I myself have practiced for years. Let me tell you honestly, I used to do japa here, 108 beats, one mala. This hand, 108 beats, one mala. Once I finish this one mala, I will move one bead in this hand. So by the time I finish this hand, this mala, 108 into 108. Whole day constantly I will be repeating. Constantly I will be repeating. I had only one effect, depression. Please let me be, please understand, I am saying the truth. I did what all need not be done. So I have right to tell you what can be done, what needs to be done. I have lived or I have done things which is not necessary. That is why I say, I have right to say what is necessary. Whole day and night, actually after some time, even when I am sleeping, I am able to rotate that mala. Even if I am sleeping, one part of my mind is constantly moving that beats. By constantly repeating, you are trying to create a shaft. Suddenly entered into some new thing. You must have felt a joy by singing Rama Krishna or Govinda or Shiva or some name. You must have felt some ecstasy. You are trying to reproduce that ecstasy by repeating that mantra, then whole thing is gone. How a person feels really happy, blissful when he dates, and he tries to reproduce that experience by marrying. Now you will understand. Now you understand what I mean. The same thing. Exactly same thing. See, you feel the joy when you are dating because you experience the gap. You experience the unclutchedness. You feel the joy when you are singing that name or chanting some mantra at some moment because you relax in that unclutched space. Not because you are repeating, but because of the unclutched space. Suddenly somehow you fall on that NS, neutral space. That is the reason you experience joy. When you try to make it as ritual, all you will have is depression. Let me be one clear, little more. How many years you practice, you can never concentrate your mind. Let me be open and clear. I tried my best, spent years, I am not able to concentrate. I am not able to concentrate. Only two things. Either you suffer with the shaft and die, or you realize that you are unclutched by very nature. The shaft doesn't exist by very nature. There is only two choices. No other choice. You can neither elongate that shaft nor break that shaft because the shaft doesn't exist. The connection itself is imaginary. How will you fight with the imaginary enemy? If you have the shaft, you can elongate or break. But the shaft doesn't exist. Shaft is purely your belief. The pain which you had 9 years ago, the pain which you had 10 years ago, the pain which you had 20 years ago are independent, separate incidents. When you start connecting them and try to create a logic, try to create an understanding, then you create the shaft, life is pain. When you try to generalize your experiences, when you try to dovehole your experiences, you create a shaft of pain or joy. The moment you start believing in the shaft of pain or in the shaft of joy, you created hell for yourself. Then you will be behind that shaft, either elongating it or breaking it. Your whole life is nothing but playing with the shaft which doesn't exist. That is what Shankara means when he says life is Maya. Maya means Yama iti Maya. You are fighting with thing which doesn't exist. Yama means which doesn't exist. You are just fighting with imaginary shaft. You are trying to break or elongate the shaft which does not exist. Let me be very clear. Whatever techniques you practice to break this shaft, without understanding that shaft doesn't exist, you will never be successful. With this single understanding, you don't need any technique. This very understanding is a technique. You are liberated. This very understanding, any simple